Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. We here.
Yep. It's
I'm
Wednesday.
JD, aka. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Go
I was
ahead.
just saying it's Wednesday.
Yep, it is Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm JD, aka He Who Pods. Glasses on today, so also rearview mirror. Oh, what was the other one? AKA Harsh Critic. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I'm Dash, aka Dashing D, aka the real king of R&B, aka cool grandma, but not really, aka I thought this was America, people.
Dun. Jigga Kelly not guilty.
Wait. No, 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 no. That's
I
not what.
got all
No,
my
no, 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 no,
homies.
no, 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 no. Well, let's slow down. You can only say that I thought this was America, people part.
Oh, whoops.
Not you
Well,
getting into it. You don't usually get that into it when I start with my nonsense. That is so funny. You were ready. You were ready.
maybe I'll be suspended. Who knows?
All right.
All right. Well, by now you've probably heard, party people,
Mm-hmm.
that the Soul Train Awards and the Hip Hop Awards are suspended.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. This is from Vibe. It says, here's why BET has suspended the Soul Train and Hip Hop Awards. Quote, they aren't gone, BET CEO Scott Mills confirmed in a statement. BET has officially hit pause on two of its most iconic shows, the BET Hip Hop Awards and the Soul Train Awards. Both award shows have reportedly been suspended indefinitely,
Yep.
according to the network. BET CEO Scott Mills confirmed the news in a statement to Billboard, saying, quote, so for BET Linear, we have suspended the Soul Train and Hip Hop Award shows, but we have a team that's actively thinking about where those award shows might best live as the media climate continues to evolve.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't gone. We also still have the NAACP Image Awards and the Stellar Awards. Clarifying further, he added, quote, it's less about them being no longer and more about our team having to reimagine them for this changing media landscape that we find ourselves in. I think what we're going to see are more people taking franchises and saying, quote, oh, him doing a quote.
Mm-hmm.
This might have started on linear television, but now I'm going to move it to another space. Do I move it to streaming or do I move it to another platform? Um, yeah. There's also a quote about 106 and sports. Do you want me to read about that or no?
I mean, you don't have to read it. It's basically, from what I understand, it's an offshoot of 106 and Park, but it's going to be sports focused.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, listen, all of the big fish have some sort of sports centered um, networks or programs or whatnot, including Paramount Global. So
Right.
I don't think it's strange that they're trying to get into the sports game. I think that's
Mhm.
I think that makes sense. I think sports is something that is built to last.
Mhm.
When you're talking about sports and sports media.
Mhm.
So I can understand why anybody would be trying to get more involved in sports. Um, Especially because BT is representative of the Black community, and there are a lot of us in sports, professional sports, so it
True that.
makes a whole lot of sense to me. But what do you think about that, and also the award shows?
106 in sports being a weekly sports show with guests, I think it's fine if that's what they want to do. I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, we all know 106 in parking ain't really been 106 in park in a long time. So I
Mm,
think that's fine. I think that's probably smart to revamp it. I don't think they needed to call it 106 and sports,
right.
but whatever. Your thing, you do what you want with it. Um I think it's sad about the awards.
Hmm.
Um a lot of us look forward to these awards, both on the artist side and the consumer side.
Hmm.
Um, you know, the awards, as much as we criticize them, we have also discussed the other side, which is the artist side, where these things help with the artist's career. And being able to say, I won this award, I won that award, it helps boost your pay. It gives you kind of another way to increase your income, your reach and visibility, right? And so removing two of them uh is kind of whack. Also, these are our awards. These are the awards that are the melanated awards in a way. Maybe some people will say that's a reach, but these were kind of the awards that were for us, by us, and where we could see ourselves and say like, hey, at this award show, these were the things that were covered. These are the people who performed. We get to see like, yeah, are they niche? Yes, right. Like the hip hop awards is just for hip hop. Soul Train awards have a very specific demographic as well.
Hmm.
But that was helpful to certain artists, and that was something also that as a fan you may not care about the hip hop awards, but you was really waiting for those Soul Train awards, or
Yeah.
vice versa. You might be like, the Soul Train awards. I'm not really the biggest soulful R&B person, but the hip hop awards, though. Let me see
Hmm.
what's popping over there.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be missing out on part of our culture, part of celebrating our culture, part of acknowledging our culture, and that makes me sad. I'm also shocked. Understand them saying, they need to figure out, are they taking it to streaming or to digital? And I think that part's okay, but the indefinitely word is what makes me a little sad because anytime you hear indefinitely,
It's
there's a
possibility it
chance
won't come
that
back.
or it might be a hot minute. Because saying we're not doing it this year, we're gonna figure out what we want to do is one thing, but that
Yeah.
word indefinitely
Hmm.
is where it
Yeah.
gets tricky.
I agree with you. I think that is a bit scary, very sad that we kind of don't even have a destination yet. We don't know where it's going to land, if it's going to land. Um, I totally understand that we are living in a very digital forward world, and the company is my understanding that the company is also trying to become digital forward. I think we'll see a lot more changes
Okay.
nothing I know about, but I'm just putting it into perspective, especially with this announcement, that if that's what they're moving towards, because that's where media is at this point, then we're probably going to see a lot more changes coming to BT and that what that experience looks like. They wouldn't be the first network to have to pivot and make changes, and also consolidate some things, because if it is digital forward, then yeah, a lot of the content that was specifically created for linear no longer makes sense.
Right.
Um, so you know, and there's a lot of money that goes into hosting these award shows, because yeah, we see it at the time that it's taped um and sent out to our TVs, but these events are usually away from home. They're not near headquarters. It's a whole big event around
Production.
it. It costs a lot of money to produce these events. Um, so I could totally understand if you're trying to restructure and refocus things. We already heard about the layoffs that happened recently. It doesn't seem like things are that all of that is over yet. So there's a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of changes that seem to be happening over there. And it does make me sad. Um, I mean, it makes me sad on a very deep level because I have a personal connection to the company.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also just being a Black woman and just experiencing things like the Soul Train Awards, the Hip Hop Awards. The thing about the BET Awards is that it combines so many different things in that one show that
Mm-hmm.
hip hop and Soul Train were great because they kind of broke out some of those things and allowed them to expand on things like R&B and soul. If you really love R&B and soul, like you said, you could watch the Soul Train Awards and get that R&B, soul, gospel. If you really were a hip hop head, like people look forward to the ciphers. People look forward to just being able to see hip hop be celebrated. And those things are absolutely important to us and to our culture. And it just kind of sucks that this is where it's at. I understand that they're saying it's not over, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where it lands. Um, and I don't even, it just makes me uneasy about the future of BET itself because we don't know
Mm.
where that lands either, you know?
Well
So,
said.
thank you. I don't know. I'm a little, I'm like, oh, okay. And like I said, I understand the sports thing. I don't think they need to call it 106 in sports. 106 in Park wasn't even at 106 in Park when it ended. So it just feels like it's okay to retire the name at this point.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think it matters, especially if it's digital forward. The name carries weight, but also we're there's a new generation that has come into the fray. I think it's okay to shake things up a bit and still
Yeah.
have people on board. So
Yeah.
I
It
don't
could
know.
easily be called like BET Sports Weekly or the weekly sports recap or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So I see what they're doing and I respect it. Like I said, I think that sports is something that has longevity. You Sports don't go away. Um, People are always going to consume sports content, so makes total sense. I don't like the name,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So recently, Wale had
Mm.
some things to say that I thought were pretty interesting, and we're gonna play it for y'all and then have a little discussion.
They're so loud now. Like they're just, like it's like we're just in a room full of like a gazillion people's screaming, a million album reviews, 15 minutes after albums out. A lot of hyperbole, man. Hyperbole is just irreparable damage to like discourse on anything, sports, football, basketball, like for the sake of entertainment of it. Yeah, and some people only understand hyperbole. Like it's either a classic or it's the worst. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's cooked us a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like they've been dogging Kobe's legacy lately, like out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's just like this that's the hyperbole thing. Like, man, he was just like what do you mean? What? Huh? Like, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. And they do it a lot more music because it's subjective. So, and that might be one of my most frustrating things about music or art in general, but especially music, black music. Mm-hmm. Like, people will be like, "That's trash," just because they don't like the person who made it. or whatever, or they might, you know what I'm saying, or they at odds with something, you know what I'm saying, like.
All right. Wale said, "I'm sick of y'all," and that y'all could be us to some of y'all. So I thought, oh, this is perfect to talk about.
That's perfect. I think it's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
I totally understand his reference to hyperbole. It is probably one of the most frustrating things for me as a podcaster is not being, not even about being understood. I'm not looking to be understood. But something that I think that we face, and I'm sure it's exactly what he's saying, where you say something and people either take your opinions as fact, or it's just that, or if we're critiquing something specifically and we say, one of us says, I really liked the Wale album, however, the beats he chose were weaker than the ones he normally has. And I feel like, maybe him and this producer didn't really like hit the mark when it came to the beats, or, but I loved everything that Wale did. I just felt like the sound was a little off for me, or it wasn't what I, was looking for, or whatever. I'm just making stuff up, but I'm using him because it's easy to just use him since we're talking about him. People will call us idiots for having that opinion. People will say, "Oh, you're a hater. Oh, you don't like Wale. Oh, you hated the album." No one understands nuance these days. No one understands that multiple things can be true at the same time. People only understand, I absolutely love this album. This album was incredible. Or I absolutely hate this album. Even if you say none of those things, the
Right.
way that people interpret something positive is all the way on one extreme. And the way people interpret something negative is always on the other extreme. And it is one of the most infuriating things, because again, not looking to be understood, but do want my opinion to be what it is, right? And if I'm not saying I hate something, listen, we come on here sometimes and say we hate something, you know. We've also come on here and said we loved something.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time though, we try to invoke thought, because why would you come here to listen to us or watch us if we're not thoughtfully having these conversations, if we're
Right.
just like shooting off at the mouth and not really thinking about what we're saying or thinking about the art that we're critiquing. We it's so wild to me. As soon as he said it, I was like, man, I totally understand. And it's gotta be infuriating if you're making music and now it has to be one thing or the other.
Right.
If you don't like an artist, you don't have anything nice to say about them. Or if you love an artist, which I think is the thing that happens, uh the thing that I notice more is when people love an artist, it's like they can do no wrong. It's like
Right.
there's never any room for, hey, when Nicki put out this album, it wasn't as strong as her last one. No one will ever wants to hear that. They only
Right.
want to hear, if you love Nicki, you loved her album. That's it. I mean, and then it goes down. We could go down a whole rabbit hole about stan culture and how that just ruins us too. But I think that's, at least that's what I took from it. That's what he's trying to say, that you know you just over there trying to make your music and share it with the world, but there's no there's no nuance. There's no provoked thought. There's just, oh, I really like this, or I really like this person, or I really hate this, and I really hate this person. I see nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand how frustrating that is. And I'm sure for an artist, it's 10 times as frustrating, because then you're not really getting a good read on what people want from you, or what people like versus don't like. You're kind of just getting these very polar opposite opinions that overshadow real thought.
Right. Yeah, I think he said a couple of things that are interesting. Number one is people doing reviews 15 minutes after something came out. Um,
Mention that.
One of the things that what?
I said I forgot to mention that part.
Yeah. So people doing reaction videos and giving their initial thoughts, I think is cool.
Mhm.
Um, I, I think it's a really cool thing to get a reaction from someone in real time, as the internet loves to say.
Mhm.
But I also think, as cool as that is, your reaction versus a true in-depth review are two different things, right?
Agree.
No matter what that thing is, it's like trying a piece of cake. That
Mm.
first bite of cake, your initial reaction is not always going to be the same as when you finish the entire piece of cake,
Yeah.
for many reasons,
Yeah.
right? And so, especially when it comes to art, I always say you need time to sit with it.
I agree.
And I have spoken about it up here many times where I try to listen to things 2 or 3 times before I review them.
Yeah.
So that way I can have enough time to say, okay, I've observed these things, I've analyzed these things, I've sat with what I think, and I've given it another listen or another watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, not saying that that's a perfect system, just saying that I take it further than the first one. I think you with art you need to take time and look at things or listen to things more than once if you're going to do a real review, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I think is important, that yeah, it's okay to give your reaction, but if you're going to call something a review and really try to
Right.
break it down, then you should know the material well enough
Right. And I think there's
to
space
do
for
that.
both.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's cool to do both of them, but I
Yeah.
think there's a difference in the two.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's definitely a difference. I think there's space for both. I think you can have the people who react immediately. I think that's necessary, because sometimes the reaction is good, and that's great for an artist. But then I think you also need the people who really understand, or really have an understanding, and really took a deep dive and tried to figure out what they thought, or what they heard or what they saw. I don't regularly listen to the Joe Budden podcast. However, I think that my favorite thing over the years, for many years now, has been their album reviews. I think that's the thing they do best. I mean, it started off as a music podcast, so of course it's the thing they do best. Um, they actually pay attention to the words, to the sounds, to everything that's going on, to little things like ad libs, which I shouldn't even call it a little thing, right? But so I think there's space. I think there's definitely space for both. There's space for you and I realizing at 3 o'clock in the morning that J. Cole put out an album, and we listen to it right away, and not even 24 hours later we review it. But also being able to come back a week or two later and saying, actually, I gave it another listen, I gave it a couple more listens, and you know this kind of, after I sat with it, I had different thoughts. So I
Yeah,
just want
and
to say
that
that.
leads to the next thing, which is being polarizing. The reason that people are doing hyperbole so much, in my opinion, is two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, today polarizing is popular, or at least that's what people think,
Mm-hmm.
right? Today, people think if I get up and shout and break something on camera during whatever point I'm making, that's like, whoa, that's gonna be a good clip. That's
Yeah.
gonna make us popular. That's gonna get us popping. We're gonna get some clout. And so there's one lane who people feel like polarizing brings popularity, right? Being polarizing brings popularity. So people turn up for the cameras, including myself. But there's a difference between being polarizing and being authentic. And I think today so many people want to be polarizing to be popular
Mm-hmm.
that they're not being authentic. The other
Oh.
thing is we live in a microwave society. And so that's why nuance is fading away because you just want to do a quick zap, right? You don't want to sit and
Mm-hmm.
really cook and bake the meal. You
Mm-hmm.
want to what can I have in 2 minutes? You got a hot pocket for me?
Mm-hmm.
You got a Pop Tart I could throw in the microwave? What you got? I need something quick. And so people have this love or hate thing because they don't want to take the time to get in the nooks and the crannies, as they used to say when I was a child. And so because of that, they give you this quick love, hate, love, hate, love, hate, right? And so because the other stuff, and this is my opinion, I'm not saying this is a fact, the other
Mm-hmm.
stuff, in my opinion, takes real time. So to be able to say, well, I think this was an amazing album. But something about track 7, I kept going back to track 7.
Mm-hmm.
Just track 7, I think that this, the way that this happened and the way that that happened and the way the beat changed 2 minutes and 27 seconds in. You need time to do that. You need time. So to just be like, well, I heard it. Well, just I heard it is not going to give you that. This is my opinion. So I think it's easier to say I didn't give it real time. I'm gonna just say love or hate, which and that leads to the last thing to me, which
Mm-hmm.
is he said there's people who hate for their favorites, basically, right? I'm summarizing. I'm rephrasing. Yeah, we have throughout time seen people just say whatever for their favorite person because people don't want to keep it real. And really, we spoke about this on Monday when we reviewed Fantastic Four, right? We spoke about how it's okay to like parts of things and not like other parts of things and say, I thought this was a 7 and a
Right.
solid 7, but not necessarily the best shit since sliced bread, right?
Right.
And I think that you have to be real when you do these types of things. There are times when I come up here and say, hey man, I absolutely do not like this artist at all,
Mm-hmm.
but they killed this shit. They did a phenomenal job. And the opposite. There have been times when I've come up here and been like, man, I love this artist, but this shit is whack. I
Yeah.
am very disappointed with this. And I think that if you're going to do reviews and reactions and speak about these things in the culture, then you need to be able to keep it real, whether you love the artist or hate the artist. And
Yeah.
same thing with film. You could say, hey, Christopher Nolan is my favorite, but Tenet was not his best work.
Mm-hmm.
You,
Fair
and
enough.
if you're gonna do that, I think you need to be able to put apart your favorites and your feelings from what is really happening. Because every Jay-Z song is not going to be the best song ever. Sorry, folks. I'm a huge Jay-Z fan, but there's plenty of things Jay-Z does that I'm like, okay, not his best effort right there. And you
Yeah.
should be able to part ways from your fandom and standum and your real thoughts. Because it's easy to get excited and say, oh my God, Marvel dropped a new movie. It was the best shit ever. Did you see it? Oh my God, it was fucking great. And really be
Right.
real and say, as much as I love Marvel, I wasn't excited about the mental health Avengers.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. I think we have to make space for that. And I think the most frustrating thing for people who exist in the microwave is that it's unnerving to them that people actually have context around the things they don't like or the things they do like, I think it's unnerving to people because people are so used to, oh, I really, really like this, or oh, I really, really hate this. So to actually have to face the person or people who can have a conversation about it is unnerving. And I think that's why there's always that push and pull between, oh my gosh, you hate this and your opinion is wrong or whatever it is, because people can't, it's almost like people can't fathom that there could be gray area or there could be some sort of nuance.
Right.
So it's and it's got to be challenging for content creators, for people who make art, for people who make music, just all around. Just, you know, we lived in a time at one point, we're old, so we can say this. We lived in a time at one point where you had to go to the newspaper or something like that to see reviews or to see even like a restaurant review or a movie review or something like that. And there were really only a really small amount of people that everyone looked to decide whether something was good or not. And now we have all these avenues where all of us can have an opinion and express it publicly. We all have access to that, or at least most of us.
Yep.
And it's almost like we take it, I say loosely, we take it and we squander it. We don't even, we're not even allowing for thought. We're not even allowing for discourse, because now we can actually talk about it. We can have a conversation about it. You can have an opinion that I don't have, and we can discuss it, and you can tell me what your perspective is, and I can share my perspective, and maybe we never agree on what the thing is, but I learned something from you, and maybe you learned something from me. So I actually think it's really fascinating, and probably psychologists probably have a field day with things like this, but
I would imagine so.
it's such a bizarre thing because it's like we have it at our fingertips now. Like we can actually really be a part of the conversation, and a lot of people don't take that opportunity. They take the opportunity to kind of lean to one side, and so yeah. It was a good. It was an interesting take. I like that topic. Thank you for bringing that to the pod.
No problem, Bob. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was our show. This has been Weeknights. Thank you for being here. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
And tomorrow we'll get to the trailer that we keep not getting to all week.
Definitely. That would be topic number 1 tomorrow.
Topic number 1 tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow so you can find out what that is.
Right. Adios.